I wanted to know like the championship mindset, because what you were saying about you not doing what kind of you wanted, like you didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do it. You didn't want to do the running. Was again something that was similar to me in a way, where I grew up. I was always a bit stockier in my sport, and my sport's more about like movement, and like even though I'm a taller guy, I'll probably have more power than some other shorter guys, but I still need to be agile in the way I move. And one thing to do that is by skipping, jump rope, and I hated that. I hated that, and my dad always told me, like when I was growing up, it's just like you have to do this, like to be pro, like to be your best. And I just could never do it, and I was always average. And I came here, started doing it, and just started having success, just because like you probably know, you back yourself in those moments. You back yourself in those moments.
Like running, jumping ropes, skipping rope, things like that is very, very mental. Because it's like you don't have to do it. Like you don't like in your mind you're like, I could stop at any minute right now. I could like stop and just like take a breather and things like that. But like learning how to push through that, and like for me also it was like learning how to entertain myself for an extended period of time, right? Because that's awful. Yeah. And for someone, especially for someone like me who I like jump around, my mind jumps around. I've kind of like ADHD, so like I'm all over the board. Yeah. So like learning how to like just be like, okay, I'm staying here for this set amount of time or this set amount of distance was extremely difficult for a long time. But I really think that was one of the reasons, you know, why I was able to, I guess, jump levels so fast after that redshirt freshman season. So
no, for sure. And like, I don't know how much you associate your sport with mental to physical, but I'd say my sport, like people always, like, it's a common phrase in tennis to say it's 80% mental, 20% physical, but I honestly believe it's honestly like 95% mental.
Absolutely.
Where it's like 5% you need to do hard work, you need to back yourself, you need to have that confidence to where it's like, I don't know if you know, like if it's like juice, where it's like a sudden death point, where it's like they're serving, you might not be, your returns aren't the best, but it's just like, I'm gonna make this. I back myself. Like I'm here for a reason, and it's just like, I feel like, I don't know if it's similar.
So there's like similar situations. So like in wrestling, like it's only 7 minutes. A match is 7 minutes. Yeah. But when it's the 5th, 6th minute of the match, you're exhausted, right? So it's like purely anaerobic. So a lot of guys, when it gets later on the match, is they crack mentally, right? So they crack. And then it's not like, we call it a term like breaking, like they break, right? When someone breaks, they're no longer able to defend themselves, they're no longer able to put the same effort into what they do, right? So like when it's the 5th, 6th, 7th minute in a match, that's like the real mental part, is like, you have a decision to make, and when I'm in that kind of 5-6 minutes, it's like you have to make a conscious decision if I'm going to keep pushing or if I'm going to coast, right? And so I think that's the similar way, or like it's like tied and there's like 1 minute to go. It's like who's gonna act and like flip that switch. Tell me about your daily routine. Like what is a day for you?
It depends if it's in season, out of season. So last semester I'd have weights in the morning, class from let's say 9 to 11, practice from 11:30 to 1, more like hitting with a private coach. Just like work on specific skills. More class from like 1:30 to 3 or something, and then we had team practice from 3:30 to 5:30. Do stretching, do whatever you need on your own afterwards. So probably all together, I try to get at least 5-6 hours a day of something.
That's a lot of time
towards my sport. Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think it's a sport where you need to put in hours. And I don't know how it is with you, but it's just like, I mean, we only allowed like 20 hours a week. And one thing that I thought of when I'm coming to college, because there are people that make it pro after college. Like we have a guy that's top 10 in the world. I don't know, Kevin Anderson. He made the US Open. So there are guys that make it, and we have a lot of other guys that did well. And I think one of the things that I thought to myself before coming in was, you have to do extra. You have to be different. You can't just kind of get mixed in to everyone else. Otherwise, you'll just be like just everyone else, you know. And So that was kind of my mindset, and that I'm trying to do the best I can. You know, juggling with school and
It's
everything.
hard,
You know
man.
how it is.
It's hard.
And,
It's rough.
Coming out, but yeah, definitely try to do as much as I can.
Yeah.
But,
So for us, it's like you talk about hours, in like 5 or 6 hours a day. So like in wrestling is a combat sport, right? It's the only scholastic combat sport. It's like boxing, like kickboxing, things like that. Wrestling, it's all kind of similar. Jiu-jitsu, but we're the only one that's scholastic funded. So we can only practice like an actual practice on mat for about 2.5 hours, and then you cannot like constantly do that every single day.
Oh, really?
Just put 5 hours in on the mat.
Are you saying that like physically or
like physically you can't do
oh,
that?
really?
Like,
Okay.
you're just
gonna
so
be done,
like
yeah.
so what I do, yeah, like I try to like actually on the mat like 2 hours a day.
Yep.
The rest of the time is building your body up,
Yep.
like learning how to do like circuits, learning how to do like running, things like that, lifting weights. So my typical day starts. You know, I try to be like systematic with it, right? And it's, I don't know, I'm a little unorthodox in the way I do things. Like sometimes I'll work out like at 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like just because like.
That's crazy.
Well, I feel like I sound kind of crazy talking about it because.
No,
like,
that's awesome.
I'm extremely paranoid, like
Okay.
right. So like I'll get a bad thought and I'll go like I gotta go work out or something.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I do try to stay systematic with it. I'll wake up. I'll wake up like at 7 o'clock, and typically we have weights in the morning, and then class. And right now, so like I'm a sociology major, so I put all my eggs in wrestling, because like I'm not really gonna do anything with a sociology degree. I'll probably just be like a coach if I really a college wrestling coach. That'd be the ideal job after competing internationally.
Is the pinnacle of wrestling? Is it Olympics?
Yeah, it is. I mean, yes and no. So wrestling's a little bit different. Where in America we have a different style of wrestling, right? There's 3 different styles of wrestling, right, that are pretty prominent. Internationally at like the Olympics, you'll compete in a style called freestyle, right? So the way I like think about it is like swimming. Right? You have your freestyle, you have like your medley, things like that. They're different. The scoring's different. The match lengths are different. So internationally, it's freestyle, which
Is that completely different to what you do?
it's not
now?
completely different. It's just the scoring's different, right? So
it is like a different like mindset in terms of how to approach it, how to the tactics.
See, I struggle with this because like they say it's like the same thing, but like it's not, but it is at the same time, right? It's complicated. But in America, we do this style called folk style. So this is collegiate style wrestling, and this is what we learn in like grade school, going up junior high, high school, and then college.
Yeah.
Right, and then we switch after college. Right.
For the guys that are good enough.
Yeah. Well,
So
the strange thing about that is you'll have guys that were never not I guess world beaters in folk style or collegiate, and that are just adapted well to that different style, and they become one of the best in the world. So it's kind of strange. But most guys that are good in one are good in the other, right? Because I mean, the similar traits, things like that. But yeah, so like the pinnacle would be like the Olympics, World Championships every year, and like for folk style it'd be the national championships, right? The NCAA finals are the most watched event in our sport, which is kind of weird because it's not necessarily the highest level. Yeah. Definitely like the World Championships is a step above, and
so NCAA championships. I remember actually. I watched you. I watched you one year. I think it was unfortunately the year that you lost.
Yeah.
In the final. And
yeah.
The crowd was just. It was insane.
It is. I
like,
mean,
the atmosphere that.
I guess. It was awful to lose, but like win or lose, like being those kind of big time moments are there's nothing like that. So like at the Olympic finals are nothing like that. Like there's definitely a lot of people there for the Olympic finals, but it's not like that. There's not 19,000 people right on top of the mat. So it's just a little bit different. But yeah, those NCAA finals are pretty special.
Yeah, I had goosebumps. Let alone. I can imagine what you were feeling there.
It's pretty terrifying sometimes, but again, it's like what you said, it's like reaffirming, like through your work, like reaffirming who you are. Yeah. So similar.